In this video, I'm going to discuss the latest application rate for October 2025 BTO launch. To make it easy to read, I took the data from HDB website and turned it into charts which are exclusive to this channel. Now let's talk about the application rate for day 2. Let's start with Turun Flexi. So the blue bar that you can see here is basically the number of units of Turun Flexi for each town. And then the red bar is the previous number of applicants. I put it yesterday, but just to be transparent, actually, this was the status as of this morning because, yesterday I was too busy to prepare other videos. But yeah, so basically, this is the previous one. And then the green one is the latest status just before this video was created. So as we can see, almost for all town, the number of applicants already beyond the number of units. So when I say the number of applicants, this is combined for seniors, singles, first-timer families, second-timer families, etc. Now let's look at the application rate for Turun Flexi for seniors. So currently, the numbers are still quite healthy because, again, this is only day 2. So, for example, for Ang Mo Kio, it's still 0.6. For Bedok, it's already slightly higher at 1.7, etc. But overall, still under 2. So this is still quite healthy. But again, this is only day 2. The number will continue to change until the end of the application period. Okay, next. This is the Turun Flexi application rate for first-timer singles. Now, I know that a lot of people are waiting about this information. So, Sengkang has no allocation for singles. Yeah, that's why I kept it empty here. But then as we can see that the trend is already growing. So for example, there are a lot of demands for Bedok, already 8.2 on the second day, which is quite interesting. And then for Jurong East as well, there are quite a lot of interest. Next up, we have Turun Flexi application rate for first-timer families. As usual, not many first-timer families interested to apply for Turun Flexi. That's why the numbers are relatively low. So not much to discuss about this one. Let's move on to the next one. Okay, next up, we have Turun Flexi application rate for second-timer families. So the numbers are still less than 1 for all towns. But again, families usually doesn't really apply to Turun Flexi, right? There's not much interest, so no wonder the rate is like this. Now let's move on to 3-room application rate. So let's start first by talking about the number of units versus total applicants. So for Ang Mo Kio, as we can see, the number of total applicants is still less than the total unit, but I'm sure the number will continue to evolve. Bedok, Bukit Merah, and Yishun already surpassed the number of units available. Now, let's look at the 3-room application rate for first-timer families. So, as we can see here, only Yishun is less than 1 at the moment. If you are interested for 3-room berlayar residences, so Bukit Merah is still less than 1, so still at 0.7. So that's good if you are interested on the 3-room at berlayar residences. And then, actually, even for all towns, the application rate is still less than 1 except for Yishun. Now, let's look at the 3-room application rate for second-timer families. Ooh, Bukit Merah already 12.1 on the second day. So this is definitely disheartening for second-timer families. But if you haven't applied, maybe you can try other towns if you are open-minded. It seems like there are a lot of interest in Bukit Merah, Yishun, and Payoh based on the data as of right now. Now, let's discuss the 4-room application. In terms of the number of units versus total applicants, as we can see, Ang Mo Kio still has quite a lot of allocation, but I'm sure, again, the numbers will continue to grow. Bukit Merah already surpasses, in terms of the number of applicants, already more than the total 4-room unit offered there. As well as Payoh, also similar situation. Even for Sengkang and Yishun, and even Bishan, there are more applicants than the number of units. We can see that Bukit Merah in particular, the jump is really quite high. There are really a lot of demand for Bukit Merah for 4-room flats. Now let's look at the 4-room application rate for first-timer families. Ang Mo Kio surprisingly is quite low. 0.2. Maybe because the location is quite far from the MRT station, so I think that is one of the reason why there's not much interest for 4-room at Ang Mo Kio. Bedok, as we can see here, even though it is also quite far from the MRT station, but probably because the flat is classified as standard, there are already quite a lot of families applying there. And then for Bukit Merah, Sengkang, and Payoh is already exceeding 1. Again, this is still on day 2. I'm sure the number will continue to evolve. Now, let's look at the forum application rate for second-timer families. So again, Bukit Merah is leading the way with 9.9. And then second place goes to Yishun, 7.4. I'm quite surprised there are quite a lot of interest on Yishun here. That's interesting. Again, Ang Mo Kio is very low. So if let's say you are interested in Ang Mo Kio, it seems like there's still some chance if you apply there as a second-timer families because the application rate is still significantly lower than other towns. Okay, now let's look at the number of units versus total applicants for 5-room and 3-gen. So in general, the demands already surpass the supply with the exception of Bedok. But for other towns, you already have more applicants than the number of available units. Let's talk about the application rate for first-timer families. So still quite healthy so far. So Yishun is 1.1, Sengkang 0.9, etc. Bedok is still very low at 0.3. So if you are interested to apply for 5-room or 3-gen, this is the application rate as of right now. And next, let's talk about the application rate for second-timer families. So for Yishun is already entering the double digits, already 14.6. So please take note if you haven't applied, maybe you want to try, I don't know, Sengkang or maybe Bedok. The application rate for second-timer families are still quite low there. And in case you're wondering, this is the data source that I got from HDB. So I'm just doing a recording of scrolling of all of the table. So feel free to like pause if you want to see, but it's basically the same data that I just showed in the form of charts. So that's it for today, and come back tomorrow if you want to know the latest application rate. To support my work, you can give a one-time tip by pressing the thanks button, pick the amount that you want, and click buy and send. Or you can also press the join button for exclusive contents and monthly membership. Your support means a lot to keep us independent. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye-bye!